Let's strip away all illusions. You can buy her flowers, take her on vacations, support her dreams, fix her problems, and give her everything she's ever wanted, and still lose her. And not just lose her body, but lose her mind, her heart, her emotions. Because here's the part most men don't want to admit. None of that guarantees love. None of that guarantees loyalty. You could be the most giving, selfless, reliable man she's ever known, and she could still wake up one day and feel nothing. She could still look at you and wonder where the spark went, when she stopped craving your presence, when your energy became familiar instead of magnetic. Most guys do everything in their power to be the perfect man, the one who always shows up, always forgives, always provides, but they don't understand that doing everything right doesn't matter if she's not feeling something in your presence. Women aren't loyal to actions. They're not loyal to how much time you spend or how much effort you invest. They're loyal to how they feel when they're around you. And feelings aren't rational. You could be calm, generous, respectful, and consistent and still lose to the guy who says less, gives less, but makes her feel more. That's the part that's hard to swallow. You can give her the world and still be invisible if your presence doesn't awaken her emotions. You could solve all her problems and still get left for the man who creates butterflies instead of solutions. Because emotion is her compass. And if your emotional impact fades, her connection does too. So many men confuse being nice with being needed. They think support equals security, but to her, support without emotional activation is just noise. A woman stays where she feels deeply, not where she's only treated well. This is the part most men struggle to accept. Emotion is the currency of loyalty, not effort. You can do everything by the book. You can be the man who never misses a birthday, who shows up every time she cries, who texts good morning every day without fail, and still, none of it matters if she doesn't feel emotionally lit up in your presence. She won't remember the thoughtful gestures if they didn't move her heart. She won't stay loyal to kindness if kindness feels dull. It's not that she doesn't appreciate it. It's that it doesn't pull her in. Women don't connect through logic, they connect through sensation. That's why the guy who makes her laugh, keeps her guessing, and brings a sense of mystery will always spark more obsession than the one who only makes her feel safe. Safety is important, but without emotional tension, it becomes routine. And routine kills emotional fire. Women crave emotional aliveness. They want to feel the highs, the anticipation, the chase, the power of your presence. If your energy becomes predictable, if your affection becomes expected, if there's no tension, then she starts emotionally detaching. Slowly, quietly, not because you're not good enough, but because you're no longer stimulating that deep internal feeling she needs to stay attached. That's why so many women leave stable, generous men for those who give them nothing but emotional friction. It's not logical, but it's real. Emotional unpredictability often creates a more memorable impact than steady support. And it's not about being toxic or manipulative, it's about understanding that emotion drives her loyalty. If your presence lacks spark, no amount of deeds will make her stay. You can't fix an emotional void with material effort. You have to learn to move her, not just show up for her. Loyalty doesn't live in comfort, it lives in emotional impact. Women chase the man who makes them feel something, not the man who simply does everything right. That's the truth most men don't want to admit. You could dedicate years to being her rock, her provider, her problem solver, and still hear the words, "I just don't feel the same anymore." It won't make sense to you. You'll look back at everything you did, all the times you bit your tongue, stayed up late to comfort her, adjusted your life to fit hers, and you'll wonder how it wasn't enough. But that's because you were playing the wrong game. You were trying to earn her love with performance, with actions rooted in fear. Fear of losing her, fear of not being enough, fear of upsetting her. But women don't stay loyal to effort that's driven by fear. They stay loyal to presence, to confidence, to energy that feels grounded and self-sufficient. When you act from fear, you're no longer leading, you're following. You become emotionally reactive, overly available, too agreeable, and slowly, you lose her respect, her attraction, her desire. Because she doesn't want a man who gives out of insecurity. She wants a man who gives from strength. A man who leads with calm conviction, who speaks with purpose, who doesn't fold under emotional pressure. That's what keeps her magnetized. Not your ability to check every box, but your ability to hold your frame when she tests you. The men who try too hard to be loved always end up doing too much, saying too much, giving too much, and all that. Extra effort becomes a silent confession. I don't believe I'm enough unless I earn your love. And that's the energy that repels her. She doesn't want to feel your desperation. She wants to feel your certainty. And if you don't have it, no amount of doing will make her stay. Loyalty doesn't come from how much you do, it comes from how deeply you affect her emotionally. That's what most men overlook. They think if they give more, do more, offer more, she'll stay. But women don't stay because you treat them well. They stay because of how you make them feel while treating them well. That emotional spark, that internal shift they experience in your presence, that's what roots them. You could write her poems, pay her rent, surprise her with gifts every week. But if you don't activate her emotions, if you don't stir something alive inside her, then all your efforts will fade into the background like white noise. She doesn't replay the gestures in her mind. She replays how she felt around you. Was she excited? Was she nervous? Did she feel feminine, desired, emotionally exposed? Or did she just feel safe and bored? It's not about being reckless or manipulative. It's about having edge, not aggression, but emotional polarity. Women connect through feeling, not through logic. You could be the perfect gentleman, the ideal boyfriend on paper, and still be the one she emotionally detaches from. Because your energy lacks fire. You gave her everything except that unshakable, magnetic masculine presence that makes her feel like a woman. The kind of energy that doesn't try to win her over, but holds space for her emotion, her chaos, her softness, without losing its center. That's what creates emotional security, not over-explaining yourself, not apologizing for your standards, not folding every time she challenges you. She doesn't want perfection. She wants depth. And depth can't be performed. It's who you are when you stop trying to impress her. When you drop the performance and own your presence. She doesn't want to leave, not because of what you did, but because of how you made her feel. The man she stays loyal to isn't the one who does the most. It's the one who makes her feel something unforgettable. He's not constantly chasing, over-explaining, or proving himself. He's not trying to win her through actions. He wins her through presence, through the way he shows up calm, centered, rooted in himself. He doesn't beg for attention, doesn't cling, doesn't act out of fear. And that energy, confident, unbothered, grounded, is magnetic. It draws her in deeper than any gift or compliment ever could. Because when a man stands firm in who he is, without apology, without seeking approval, he becomes the one she can't get out of her mind. Not because he gave her everything she asked for, but because he made her feel things she didn't even know she craved. He awakened her, emotionally, spiritually, internally, When you stop overgiving and start embodying, everything shifts. You no longer need to chase her because your energy pulls her. You no longer need to convince her because your presence speaks louder than words. A man who holds his frame, who's willing to walk away when he's not respected, gains a different kind of power. That's when she sees him as irreplaceable, not for what he does, but for who he is. Because she knows deep down that no amount of gifts, attention, or sweet words from another man can recreate that emotional experience. Women don't want a man who sacrifices his identity to keep them. They want a man who inspires loyalty by being so sure of himself, so emotionally consistent, that he becomes her anchor even in chaos. Not through control, but through depth. Not through promises, but through presence. And when you become that man, she doesn't just stay, she chooses you again and again, because nothing else compares.